We're here.
It's away from me.
It's away from you. Tim's getting ready. He just showered. But I just got done at SoulCycle. It is our friend's wedding day today, and we SoulCycled this morning, and it was amazing. I'll talk more about it later. Don't worry. But I have to run now because one of my clients lives here, and I'm going to meet her for coffee. So I'm running downstairs. Gonna go meet her, and it's gonna be really fun. So, I just met Victoria, my client that lives in Boston, that I consider just friend, you know, not a client. All my clients are my friends and my family, and it was so wonderful, so amazing. It's like the best thing ever when I get to meet you guys, my clients, in person. It's just like so rewarding, and I spent an hour and a half with her, and we just chatted just about life, about so many things. It was just like seeing an old friend. I feel like I know them all so well, and meeting them in person is just like a huge bonus. I just had like the best morning ever. SoulCycle first, which is, you know, the greatest start to my day. If you guys haven't been following me for that long, you may not know about my love of SoulCycle, which runs deep. So we'll talk a little bit about it here. So SoulCycle opened here in Boston, in Chestnut Hill. Was the first studio that they opened, and that was where I lived, in Chestnut Hill. And they opened it 3 months before Tim and I moved to Minnesota, which really was, it was basically, it might have been 2 months actually before I moved. But Tim had already left. So Tim left the month before I moved, and I packed all of our stuff, moved it into a pod, and then he came back to drive with me cross country. But it was a really challenging time. There was a lot going on. For those of you who don't know, we moved back to Minnesota to be with Tim's mom, who had terminal cancer, and it was a very difficult time emotionally. Obviously, there was like a lot going on. It was just really emotional, really sad, really just devastating. And it rocked our world. It just changed like our lives and the lives of his family and now my family. And we had decided that Tim was obviously gonna move, and we had a lot of conversations, and I was gonna move with him, which worked out. We're married. But in that process, when he left, I was kind of, you know, going through this really hard time in life, kind of alone. Like I had a lot of friends here and stuff, but it was just it was hard to talk about. It was hard to not be with Tim, and it was just a lot of like sad days. And I found SoulCycle about a week after Tim left, and I rode with an instructor named Molly Schreiber, and she was from Boston originally, but she was an instructor in LA, but they moved her out here to help her open, like for her to like kind of open and get the studio going. She was amazing. I mean, I fell in love. My first class, I fell in love. I felt this sense of community. I felt like I belonged. I felt like it was the pick me up that I needed. I felt like my heart was full, and I was just so happy, and I loved it so much. And I rode almost every day until I left for 2 months, and I made one of my like best friends. Her name was Ruby. I met there on my first day, and it was her first class too. And we went together, and she was kind of my she was kind of like an angel to me, actually. This is like so funny to like talk about and revisit, but I'm in Boston for the first time since we left, and I'm having all of these emotions and feeling like I got in a time machine, and like I'm back, and I'm Boston Abby again, which was a different Abby. Like I'm really different than I was when I lived here. And Ruby was like an angel. She, I think I was really fated to meet her, and I introduced myself at SoulCycle, and we sat next to each other, and we rode bikes, and we swapped numbers, and we hung out almost every day until I left. And she kind of helped to guide me like in that difficult time. It was kind of SoulCycle and Ruby that kept me really sane in the move and in the transition, and just with all of the change happening and everything we were going through. And it was actually a kind of challenging time for me and my family, because my parents, like I wasn't engaged. Tim and I had only been dating for a year, and I was moving across the country to be with him and his family during this time, and my family was really concerned about it. And not that they like were against it, I don't want to say that, but they were just concerned for me to like drop everything and move, as I think anybody's family would. And would be at least. And so it just was like such a time where I felt I like needed something to keep me centered and grounded, because I felt like I was flying like all the time, not in like a good way, just like floating above, like watching life happen. And it was kind of like when you find out like news like that about somebody, and you're just kind of helpless, you know, and you feel helpless. And I felt helpless for Tim and for his family and for his mom, and it was like heartbreaking every day. And I needed something to like bring me back, and like make me feel like me. And Ruby did that, and SoulCycle did that. And so like SoulCycle has this like super special place in my heart, which I like wasn't gonna cry during this video, but anyway, going back there this morning was like, it took me back to that time in my life. And even like driving through like my old neighborhood, and I don't know, it was just super emotional. And I just was thinking about me like when I lived here, and how badly like I needed that thing in my life, and like how it saved me in a way. Like I just like, it was so special to me. I look like such a mess. I'm so sorry. I like totally wasn't even gonna cry. I like wasn't even sad when I started this video. And I'm not sad. It's like such a happy thing for me. Like I felt like myself there, and it was this like safe space where I could just like be me, and I loved it so much. And I moved to Minnesota and I lost it. And it was what I needed to prepare myself for what was gonna be happening in Minnesota, which was like the hardest time of my life, like watching somebody go through that, like somebody and then somebody's family and just everything. And like it was really traumatizing, like for everybody involved. And I fully believe that like SoulCycle and that Ruby were like brought to me at a time in my life when I needed to feel like me, and I needed to prepare myself like mentally for what was going to be happening in the next few months. And it just was like, it was fate. Like it just was handed to me. And so like everybody jokes, like, cause up until the day I left, I rode twice a day. My last week here, I rode twice a day, every day until I left. And I cried like a baby my last class, and I cried through the whole class. And then I cried after saying goodbye to Molly, which was like super hard because Molly became some sort of like spiritual guide for me. Like it was just like, it was a lot. Like it was a really emotional time in my life. Anyway, all of this is just to say that like going back and seeing this place today just like brought all that back to me, and how important it was and how important it is. And so I wasn't even going to mention this, but I was met with Victoria today, and we got into a conversation about SoulCycle, because she was like, what is it? I don't understand it. And it's hard for me to explain it because it's so emotional for me. And I think like whenever I hear people explain it, like it seems so simplified, you know, like because it's not a workout to me. Like it is, obviously, but it's my mental and my emotional health, and that like space that exists where like you can be you and you're inspired. And I told Victoria, I said, when I left to move to Minnesota, and I lost it. Like I still had it in me, but like I didn't have that community. And it was a huge reason why I started 3S Fitness, because I needed that space. Like I didn't ever have it before SoulCycle, and joining SoulCycle made me realize how necessary it was to not only work on physical health but emotional health, which is what I try to do with 3S every day. That's why we do personal development courses. That's why I get to know my clients personally through video check-ins and text check-ins, and like see how they're feeling and how they're like thinking and how their mind is going, not just like their body. And SoulCycle reminds me of why I started all of this, the why I started 3S Fitness, like why I do what I do every single day. And it's to bring this community to the masses for a really affordable price, because I feel I have experienced how necessary it is, and we need it at certain times more than others. But I can promise you, if you've never experienced anything like this, it's life-changing. It's life-changing. And, you know, I try to do it for my clients and for myself every single day, but SoulCycle will always fill this like hole in my heart that it just like saved me at a time when I needed it. And it prepared me to do my best to create something that exists like it, that can be for everybody, no matter where you are in the world. Because I felt such a loss when I left that it was just something that I wanted to get back. I think it's really hard for people to, I mean, you guys can see like how emotional this is for me. Like none of this is fake. Like this is so real for me. Like how this makes me feel, and it's not physical. Like yeah, my legs are dead. They hurt so bad and I sweat so much and it's really hard workout. But like emotionally, it fulfills this void, this like space that I needed and I believe every woman needs. And that's why I do what I do. And just that reminder this morning just had me like just reeling in emotions, like a ocean of them. And I'm just in love. I'm in love with that sense of community and that sense of acceptance and belonging. And I'm like obsessed with it, like in a way that not in a bad way, in a way that like I want everyone to have that and experience that. And it's so important. And I know that maybe you're waiting for the right time, and I hope that you're not, because I feel like that's what happened to me. Like I feel like I always knew I needed it, but I feel like God gave it to me at a time when I needed it the most. And I was kind of like at a point where I needed it. I needed it to move forward in a way that made me stronger for Tim and for his family and made me able to be the person that I needed to be. And I don't want you to like wait for that time. So I don't know. I wasn't even planning to like go that in depth with this during this video. But I just feel really strongly about it, and I'm just having a lot of emotions, and I booked another SoulCycle class for tomorrow because I just have to. Like, I have to go back. And I don't know. I can't explain it, you know? It's that's what makes it hard for me to explain what 3S Fitness is, because it's all intangible to me. It's almost impossible to communicate like what it means to these women emotionally and mentally, because it's not just about the physical fitness at all. And in fact, I would say mostly it's not. Like, yeah, you're going to lose weight and you're going to see great results, but why you stay and why you're a 3S fitter is because you have a family and you belong and you're accepted for who you are and you're inspired. And I know there are online fitness communities, but I don't think any of them compare to what we do. And I just wanted to kind of explain where it came from, because being here and taking that class reminded me. And not that I ever like don't enjoy what I do. I love what I do. I'm just obsessed with what I do. Like, it's my favorite thing. I can't wait to wake up every day and work for my clients, for my family. And SoulCycle today just reminded me, like, this is why you did that. Like, this is, you know, this is one of your places. Like, this is one of your places where you feel like family, where you feel like you're home. And everybody should have that when it comes to their physical and their emotional fitness. And we're trying to do that for you too. And it was kind of inspired by that. So inspired by that feeling and that need that I never knew I had. So anyway, it was a really long, little winded explanation there. And it got really emotional in there, but I'm glad I communicated that, and I really wanted you guys to know that. So yeah, if you ever have any questions or feelings or thoughts, you can always email me. I'll have it linked below for you guys. So yeah, man, this is a like 13-minute video right now. And when I picked up this camera originally, I was going to talk about Victoria's SoulCycle and the room service I just ordered. So I'm not going to end Vlogmas here, because I do want to show you guys the room service I ordered. I have to edit Vlogmas and get one up for today, but I wanted to share that too. So I'm going to film my room service when it gets here. Tim actually is out. I SoulCycled with the bride this morning, and then her two cousins and her sister, and then Tim's in the wedding. I'm not in the wedding. Tim's in the wedding, and he is out to lunch with them, and then they're getting they're getting a shave from a barbershop all together. And so he might be back by 3, but then they have pictures, so I'm kind of like on my own for the rest of the day, which gives me like a lot of time to like be alone and like be with me, which I actually kind of really like and like really feel like I need, especially after such an amazing morning, like an outrageously amazing morning. Yeah, I don't know, it's hitting me all in the feels, Boston, so it feels like a sense of home for me here. Okay, it's here. I know for you that was like 4 seconds, but for me it was a little while longer. So, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. So I got, let's see what it looks like. Ah, it is the chicken bacon or chicken BLT panini, and it has fries. Oh my gosh, they look like Parmesan garlic truffle fries, which you guys, I have had a smoothie today and I did a 50-minute SoulCycle class and I'm flat out exhausted. So I'm gonna probably try to eat this whole situation here and not even feel bad about these. And yeah, I just wanted to show you guys what I got. So Tim might be back in a little bit, but I may be just kind of winging it myself today. So I think that's the plan. So anyway, I'm gonna go eat and I will catch up with you guys later.